Welcome to Sustainable Solutions. I'm Chloe, and in this series, I chat with leaders from a wide range of industries about the innovative solutions driving us towards a sustainable future. Nanuk Asset Management, they are leaders in sustainable and responsible investing. And Tom, as the Chief Investment Officer, has to actually help lead the decisions they make with their investments. And as such, he has a lot of great knowledge on the sustainability space and investing in these areas. So today I was really keen to ask him lots of questions. I asked him about what sectors within sustainability are looking really promising for the future investments, as well as why is sustainable investing just so attractive to young people, and also the idea that how can young people get started with sustainable investing. A lot of great advice, a lot of golden nuggets in this episode, and I hope you enjoy. Hi, Tom. Thank you so much for meeting with me today. Firstly, I wanted to ask you if you could please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about what you do at Nanuk Asset Management.
My name's Tom King. I'm the Chief Investment Officer at a firm called Nanuk Asset Management. We're a Sydney-based funds management business that invests globally in companies involved in things to do with environmental sustainability and resource efficiency.
That's great. To start with, I was hoping if you could tell us a bit about what are the benefits of sustainable investing.
The main benefit that we see is that investing in areas of the economy that are helping to make the world more sustainable and resource efficient is very likely to be aligned with the way in which the global economy evolves over the next couple of decades. Firstly, because government policies are starting to drive the economy to change in that way, but also because as that's happening, you're seeing a range of more sustainable, efficient technologies becoming economically viable and starting to change the landscape of many industries, and having those long-term trends as a tailwind to your investing is common sense, or make sense to us. And we think because of that offers opportunities to generate good investment returns over time.
Definitely, that makes a lot of sense. Next, I wanted to ask you, what sectors within sustainable investing are looking very promising for the year ahead, do you think?
That's a very good question, and it's the question we have to always ask ourselves as investors. Where are the returns going to come from in the future rather than where have they come from in the past? And that is driven by two things. So it's driven by the way in which the economy is evolving and industries are changing, and the profitability of different parts of the economy and individual companies is growing, but also by the way that investment markets behave and whether you can buy companies at prices from which you're going to generate good investment returns. So there's this constant sort of the intersection of those two things, and you're looking to find things where profitability is likely to improve going forward, but share prices have behaved in a way that means that you might generate good returns from that. And yeah, if we look at the moment, there's as there always is, a variety of different areas that are of interest for different reasons. I think at the moment you've got this interesting situation where people are concerned about slowing growth in the global economy. You've got issues in Europe and rising interest rates in most of the world that are likely to remain at levels that cause the economy to slow. That's what they're trying to achieve. And that means that there are a lot of industries where growth and profitability are slowing. And that presents a challenging investment environment. But yeah, we're also coming out of this period where COVID significantly disrupted economic activity around the world and the supply chains of a lot of industries. And so there's a set of industries where you're starting to see things returning to normal, and companies are able to grow and improve their profitability despite a broader macroeconomic picture that isn't so rosy. And if we look at sustainable technologies, there's quite a few that fall into that sort of category. So you've got industries like the wind industry, where the manufacturers of wind turbines had their businesses very significantly disrupted by COVID, and most of the larger ones are not profitable at the moment, but because of dynamics in the industries and things improving, are likely to improve over the next few years. So that would be one sort of area. You see similar things happening, perhaps in a more subtle way, in the automotive industry, where supply chain disruption sort of impacted the availability of new cars, and the volume of the auto industry globally is starting to recover. But as that's happening, you've also got increasing penetration of electric vehicles, and component suppliers into that industry starting to benefit from higher growth in the industry, and more vehicles with electric drivetrains and technologies like active safety and autonomous driving technology. And so areas like that are interesting. On the sustainable policy front, there's been some pretty extraordinary stimulus policies announced, particularly in the US, but also in Europe over the last 12 or 18 months. And those are starting to have an effect. And so you're starting to see industries like the automotive industry, like the semiconductor industry, taking advantage of those subsidies and building new factories and growing volumes quickly. And there are a pretty sort of wide range of companies that benefit from that kind of activity. And those policies will drive growth in in electric vehicles, in green hydrogen, in renewable energy, in grid upgrades, in things like carbon capture and storage through the next decade. And those sort of growth trends are all pretty interesting areas.
Definitely. And so I've noticed in a few of your responses, you've prefaced the idea of how sustainable investing has a lot of opportunity for good returns. What are maybe some other reasons why sustainable investing is so attractive for young people?
I think it's fairly obvious that a lot of people want to know that at least some of their investment is aligned with how they want the world to change. There's not much point sort of hoping for a cleaner, more sustainable future, and then investing in oil and gas companies who are doing things that are at odds with that. And so it's really a philosophical or an ethical or a moral issue for a lot of people who want to make sure that that their investment is particularly not in areas that are misaligned with the way they would like to see the world evolving.
No, definitely. And I guess, like, obviously you're an industry expert. Do you have any advice for a young person who wants to start investing, and particularly look at starting to do some sustainable investing?
I think I could offer some advice on both fronts. I think the best advice I could give is, if you're interested in it, then start. That's the hard thing to do. So go and set up a broking account and buy some shares. It's not until you've lost your own hard-earned money that you really start to understand what it's all about. So that's by far the best way to learn, is to go and do it. And I'd encourage people to do that. When it comes to trying to invest in a sustainable way, that can mean lots of different things to lots of different people. And the simplest expression of that's probably just avoiding investing in things that you're not comfortable with, whether that's tobacco or alcohol or gaming or pornography or oil and gas or whatever it might be. But if you're looking for that positive exposure and impact to what your investments are doing, I'd encourage people to look around the world rather than just looking in Australia. We're really not, as a country, at the cutting edge of what's going on in a lot of those industries, and the opportunities available here to invest in things like renewable energy or other sustainable technologies are, they're far less abundant, and they're far sort of lower quality than the opportunities you'll get elsewhere.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for those great pieces of advice and for chatting with me today, Tom. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe to Dynamic Climate Now to stay informed and inspired by the dynamic intersection of climate change and business innovation.